Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'd like to add an additional page to my field notes journal. This is connected to the Roxy Journal of Stitchery that we're all stitching along to. We're up to volume 6 now, so if you're new, gosh, there's just so many videos out there now to get you inspired to pick up needle and thread. So we're all working on the prompt for, well, the first prompt for the whole project, which was spring bulb. Now I've actually completed my cover, which I kept very neutral with a hint of what is to come. And I've also completed my prompt spring bulb. Now, when I was looking at the layout of my little journal, I might just come up a little bit because I'm doing the concertina style, but I want the journal to concertina yet follow itself around in a circle like the seasons, because the seasons are in the background of all the prompts as well. Spring bulb. So these are prepped pages ready to have me stitch on them. So I've just sort of had some calico lying there and thought I'm just going to get it all prepped. I've also done a video showing how, where I can, I want to include a little bit of Edith Holden because this is my tribute to Edith. So that really sets the format for my journal. And these concertina pages have been reinforced with some slightly heavy paper, just so that it's not so flippy floppy. I did one, I think volume 2, a concertina journal, and I just felt it was slipping and sliding around on me. So I decided to put some paper in behind everything. So I'm technically at the back cover now, which then starts again with opportunities to put pieces in there as well. So mine is going to continue in a circle. So as I flip through, I'll get to the back cover, of which then I start again. So that's the premise of mine, but at the end of the day, it's still the concertina, just reinforced with the card. And I'm really loving how it's sitting and stacking. Because I went ahead and cut a heap of these out ready for future prompts and stitching, I'm pretty confident that my spines in all of these little inlets can handle the thickness that's coming, and it's going to feel quite nice in my hand. Okay, so enough yibber yabbering. So as I just said, I finished the first prompt, but I have an inside cover here. And my plan is, if spring, summer, winter, autumn are the sections, and then there's 3 prompts per section, this internal page could be all about spring, introducing what's coming. So then when I flip it over, the next 2 and the final 2 prompts for spring would be here. So then I flip again, and this could be summer. And of course then the next prompt could go in. Now, I think I worked out in Britain for Edith, this is summer. I'll have to check all that. You guys run on a whole different calendar system up there, so it gets a bit confusing for my little old head. So that potentially could be the summer prompt where I've stitched into an Edith page and then embellished it, and then away goes the prompts. Of course, 3 prompts, and then you're into autumn. So anyway, that's beside the point. So I want to do spring. And in anticipation of doing this additional page, I prepped a base. This is Kath Holden's print, and it is from her art journal series, I think. There was a selvage on it, and I think I did mention that in a video. So that's my base. That's my inspiration, so I want to stay within that. Now, the girls, Sarah chose a daffodil, and I was hunting through all my supplies looking for elements that suit spring, and I found this guy. He's the only one I have. So I thought, right, I'm going to start my title page for spring using this little guy. Now, the other thing I wanted to do is I have an Edith Holden book. It's not here with me on the table, that is missing a heap of pages because I had used it in some journals I'd made ages ago. And I was starting that book at July because I'd used everything prior. There's July. That's the one that I just showed you. So I was not sure what happened in the rest of the book. So I was flipping through this colouring in book, and lo and behold, what did I find? These little snowdrops, I believe they are. Daffodils, snowdrops, and then a little bit further on, I think it was March, daffodils. So I would like to do a spring page incorporating all of the above. Daffodils, snowdrops, we'll see where it goes. So that's the, I guess, the premise for the start of my project. And my plan before I really worked out the premise was to put it onto this background. I'll just have to see how we go, because maybe the background will fight with what I plan to do. So this background might get saved for a rainy day further in the book, but we'll see. So what I've got, when I did my colour swatches, because that's going to be a bit of a theme through it for the hyacinth, I did that for daffodil in mind. So I've got a little colour swatch. Let's just move that to one side. I've got this little guy. I found this. I thought this might be sweet to add. It feels very spring to me. This is a machine embroidered element with colour pigment into the actual doily. So mass produced, heaps of them out there. So I plan to have a little play with that. And I've got this as well, which I thought was very spring. And I've also got a piece of this. Now, I've also got my tea towels that I picked up from Spotlight, which I believe has a daffodil on it as well. I was a bit low on daffodils and finding them. Have I got a daffodil? Yes, I do. Got a little daffodil. So that's the plan. I just want to have a fiddle and see where it goes. The other thing I need to consider is I have a tab here connected to the front. So I sort of could do with doing something to address the back of that tab as well. Yeah, so let's have a look at my base. So if I was to consider utilising the tab, I would need something coming out about there. And daffodil. How are we going to work you in? What if that became out on the tab? What if that went there, like that? That would certainly catch the tab if I pop that at a bit of an angle and then cut that. I don't want to cover up all my beautiful words, but what about this? This really sung to me. What if there's writing on it, Kelly? It's got a life before it came to me, it would seem. So if that maybe, could that merge in with the daffodil? Gosh, it'd come awful blooming close. Oh, it'd have to work, wouldn't it? I might. Don't want to lose him, but I could. Where's that? Yeah, I might have to lose him. So maybe, I love that bottom edge. See the little pink edge there? Oh, that's just too good. Just checking all my boundaries. I wonder if I got that little guy off, I could reposition him. Can't see why not. Okay. And there's the daffodil just peeking through there. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to cut that at there. Bring it down. Now, little guy, can we cut you out? Where's my itty bitty scissors? So I hope you're all well. I hope you're all, well, I guess got your heads around the prompt and how you're proceeding with the presentation of your prompts, whether you're doing the concertina or you decided on something else. I've been thinking about the Rachel printed pages. I haven't used them yet in this project, the field notes. I think I'm sort of saving them for some reason. I'm thinking about doing a standalone project with them. I've got a few ideas floating around in my head, so stay tuned. It's going to be hard to dissect them into bits. I'm thinking more along the lines of a big project, utilising them. Been looking for another big project to sort of pick up whenever. And now that Primitive Rabbit is coming to an end, I'm wondering if I can do something with my pages. I don't know if this is a good idea, pulling this off. Oh yeah, it's coming. So it's just applique on there, needle turn applique. Probably could do with a quick unpick. Would be more efficient. Just bear with me. Let's grab a quick unpick. Seam ripper. I don't think I have one. This is what my grandmother used to use for unpicking her bridal work. Just doesn't seem like it would cut. I don't know how you did that, grandmother. That was the other thing she used to use. This big pen with this spiky thing in it. I know she had, yeah, see, I don't know how she did that. I remember seeing her unpick lace with that. Oh my goodness. Just trying to find a quick unpick, guys. Here we go. That was hers. I guess back in the day, you just use what you've got. The struggle is real here. I think I need the scissors. Goodness sakes, it's just not coming. It's because it's machine stitched. It is intensely stitched. There we go, that's loosened it off again. There's so many little stitches there. Oh, I should have just cut through it. Wasting time, valuable time. That's it. Now we're getting there. Yep. So many little itty bitty stitches. I'm a bit worried about the background I've prepped. I feel like it's just going to be overpowered. I might rip this right through to the top of the page. This, maybe this becomes my base and I pop that aside. It's all that beautiful Kath Holden, and maybe save it for another prompt. At least I'd have a base ready, wouldn't I? That'd be efficient of me. Come on, little leaf, let go, for goodness sakes. Imagine unpicking this whole thing. That'll never happen now that I've experienced this itty-bitty leaf. Come on, little guy. Let go. Maybe I should pause the video, sit here for 20 minutes struggling with this. Yeah, I might, guys. I'm going to just pause, get this little sucker out of the way, and then go from there. Back in a moment. I'm back. That's 10 minutes of my life I'll never get back, but I got the little sucker off. He was certainly well attached, so we better hang on to him for reinstatement somewhere. But he is off. He was just in the way of my ripper. So I think I might just, actually, we're going to do the whole page, I think. We can always cut it back if we decide to go back. That writing, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So we might just do that. Now, how can we position him? I think it'll work. So that's, I guess the question is, will I end up breaking it down even more, as in fussy cut that out, or, look at that lady's name, Kelly and Kelly. I wonder if it was a little girl who wrote. Yeah, I like that. So I've got some scrappy bits, pop them away. So let's bring this forward. And if this becomes the background, and we can get him in there to become part of the back of that tab, do we bring him forward? Where's a base that is already prepped? Because even if that, let's say that stays its entirety and the flowers come forward, I'm losing a lot of my background. What if that bent forward as well? Be a shame to cut the doily. What if that moved over and that come forward as well? What's that look like peeking out the back? So, probably prefer that. It's a lot more subtle, having just a little bit peeking through. So I think that's where that's going to go. I think the background's got to go. It's a shame to have all that. Yeah, it's out. Okay, so that means we're just going to have a plain piece of calico as my base. That sits on top. So now I don't have the pressure of the background being lost. I can use that for another prompt. I'm okay with that. Now I guess the question is, how do we incorporate the two? Who gets chopped and who doesn't? If I was to fussy cut through there, and through there, well, I don't even mind that, but that would have to go, and he would join in like that. Oh, I like that. It's very bulky, but that's okay. I like the fact. Now, if I'm going to bring some of these extra daffodils in, where were they? Here. I like the styling of those. So maybe I can, so I don't even mind the fact that that's folded, like I could applique that on. So if I cut it a little bit further and turned it under, but with that, I think it's probably bulk I don't need. How about this guy? What have we got here? And how do the flowers go? So I could bring him up through as well. Could bring them through the back. I might fussy cut out this guy. This little morsel. I love doing this type of work because you never know where it's going to end up. And you just sort of piece together little elements that you've got and build. Build up all your bits. I like how this is really fine. So this will be good in the background. Like coming up in behind all of it. Oh, it doesn't quite fit, does it? It does if I go there. But I think it needs to be there. It does work colour-wise. I think this needs to be fussy cut out. Maybe to there and to there. Oh, it's so hard to make the decision to chop or not to chop. I think this is definitely the background. This has potential of joining it in some way, but I'm thinking the best spot for it is probably sneaking in at the top here. Drum roll. Take this little morsel out. I might just cut at this angle first. Let's just do it. Like, don't be frightened. Let's just do it. We'll keep it straight for now. Straightish. Line up that there. Line up that there. And line up that there. All that comes under there. Okay. I think this could go. Oh, I tell you, it's tricky, isn't it? Everything's so pretty and it's trying to make it all blend together. I think we can do something there because I can always bring in some other flowers, you know, to soften it all back into something. I might take that out eventually, but I think I'm going to just sneak around here. I'll take that for now. Just a fraction, just a fraction. So if I could get that over a little bit, just bear with me guys as we try and get this all to work. Yeah, I think I need to nibble that out. Well, we've committed now anyway, so we're nibbling even more out. I think it'll work. I just might need to go looking for some more little spring elements just to flesh it out a little bit more. There's a possibility I could cut away that too, and that background could come back into play. We just keep fiddling until we think we found something that makes us feel like we can stop fiddling. Meanwhile, my daffodil is getting more and more destroyed. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Okay, so I wonder if that could sit in there as a potential something. No, it's not quite right. I think the angle of this little guy needs to be, might end up having to lose that. We'll see. Might be something I can find that sneaks into there, or it's just stitched. That could be all, you know, seed stitch, and that'll just blend. I could look for a little bit of lace to go in the background there. There's heaps of opportunities. Now the question is with this, do we work it back in before I pop it to one side? I don't mind it up there. That makes for an interesting piece. It's building that background, isn't it? Keep coming back to this guy. It's not quite right. Let's have a look at some of the other. Where did I cut him from? Let's take him out. She's an old girl. I can see lots of marks on this little piece. It's a collage of spring flowers. I need to decide too where my sketch of those daffodils is going to go before I get too carried away here. Or snowdrops. I think I'm just going to leave this bit attached for now because it might work going up the side. Give us that whoosh of flowers up the side. See, there's technical speak there, the whoosh. Once all this gets seed stitched together, you barely, well, you don't really notice where pieces join and pieces finish. That's the magic of seed stitch. It just mushes it together. Your swooshes and mush together with seed stitch. Technical Corrine speak there. Okay, let's just... I did have in mind that embroidery that's not completed, as well as maybe something that would link it all together, and then I could stitch into that. But I don't know if I'll need it. Won't hurt to save it either, because there's a lot of prompts coming. Can't use all your good bits in the one. Okay, so if this was based down here, yes, that anchors the corner of my piece. Yes, I think this little guy's going. What if that was higher up? Maybe the rose needs to go. Let's thin this out a little. I think it's still a pretty big blob. So if we get a little bit of fabric out, sometimes that helps work something in when you think it's just not going to fit. What's Pepper woofing at? They were a little bit unsettled last night. So whether there was some dingoes around, I don't know. Bandit in particular. If anyone's unsettled at night, it's Bandit. Pepper tends to pull back and be a little bit more quiet. During the day, she's the mouthpiece. She's given everyone a salute as they passed. And Bandit, he couldn't care. Walkers, he don't care. Little white fluffy dogs, he doesn't care. Pepper, she's like, what are you doing? Where are you going? But in the evening, Mr. Bandit comes awake. And he's very much, you know, big woof, woof. But only if there's something out there, of course, not for the sake of it. And you can go a couple of weeks without boo coming out of either of them. But last night, he was very agitated about something a couple of times through the night. So whether it was some kangaroos passing by or some dogs, wild dogs, I know there's some around. There's definitely dingoes around. Foxes. I've seen bunnies pass through, hares, and he's never reacted to those. So he'd obviously smell and know what's there. So it makes me think it was another dog. What if that come through there? I think that has to go, doesn't it? Don't mind that. Or am I trying to make something work that's just not going to fit? I don't mind that. If that rose was to go, all the rose stays. It does work there actually, with a little bit of gentle manipulation. I like the fact that it hides the join of that piece coming down. So I'm happy with that. What about, there's my little leaf. See, maybe he can come back into play there. Maybe he comes back into there somehow. Back across there like that. I do lose those, but that's okay. I can always reproduce little sprigs like that elsewhere. I do like that. That feels like it works. This feels like it works. I love that on the corner. Just got a bit of a shape issue here. Maybe I can sculpt that back a bit so it looks like it's part of that. Oh, yes, yes. Look, look, look. Look. That's how we're going to get around that sharp edge. We're going to pretend that that connects to there. Ha. All right, what a weird looking doily. It goes blah, 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 but no one will ever know once that's finished stitching. This little guy, he could potentially come in here, but he's such a different colour. I don't think he can. if I didn't have all of this going on, I think rainy day, he's gone. Spring flowers, aren't you popping out? I've got a few little gaps here that could be something. I don't know what happened to drawing some daffodils. Maybe we sketch them in and see how we go. What if we were to bring a daffodil stem up through here, like Edith? I'm now looking at my picture here. This all come through here. Oh, I'm not a fan of drawing daffodils, guys, to be honest. They really have a unique shape about them to make them look like a daffodil. And I wish that was in reverse. I could go and flip it via my printer, but let's just have a go. So we've got this little triangular thing happening. Then there's this tulipy thing, little edge happening. Then there's like such a interesting little drawing that young Edith has done here. Can Corrine add something that complements it? Or is it going to look like a bit of a sore thumb? Doesn't look like a daffodil. Can't even work out what it is. It's not a good sign, is it? It's competing with the rose a little bit. But maybe, so they have that hang, don't they? Let me try and draw this guy. The beauty of an iron will remove all evidence of this behaviour that is taking place. So one can be a little brave with one of these pens. Just see if we can pull off a bit of a sketch. And it'll be along the lines of this hyacinth, just a bit of a hint of Edith in the background, I'm thinking. Bit of a nod to the girls too, to Sarah. It's a funny little plant, isn't it? Not bad. What do you guys think? Not that I can hear you. It's a bit late once the video's up, isn't it? When you all go, oh, I don't know, girl. I think if that just maybe bent away a little bit and opened up, I don't mind it. If it's going to be a journal that's a tribute to Edith, some little sketchy daffodils in the background is probably good idea. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it, actually. I think what I'll do is I'm going to just let them sit there for a bit and start the process of stitching everything down. Might see if I can find something to go there. I just feel like that's an opportunity for a little bit of something. Maybe that. Yeah, I'm okay with it so far. I think once I get my iron and just sharpen up some of those leaves, I love how that connected. Like at a first glance, you would think that was crocheted to suit. These little flowers will be good to scatter without going and finding a whole new piece of embroidery. I know I have some baby versions of them. See, things like that can happen. Things like that can happen. Not that I'm too worried about lines because, like I said, once seed stitch goes through, I sort of like that down there. It feels like it's, yeah. And that's before you pick up thread colours like that and scatter some little things through as well. Maybe I get another one of those. See if I can densely cluster that bottom. I think it'll really anchor the page. Another question I've got for my head is the word spring. Do we want to work that in or just leave it at a collage of elements? So I've got the word Kelly there. All right, Kelly, you're gone. Kelly's gone. What other bits are in here? I think I'm back to... Let me just trim this excess off. Pretty old grungy thing that is. Okay. This little fellow here, this little leaf, I think we'll bring him out there like that because we tucked that in. So that'll disguise the fact that that's happening. There seems to be like little... Oh no, leave it. It's a leaf. So can I get another one of those in? I don't think so. I think I'm to the point where if I did do anything else, it'd be tiny. Let's have a look at this tea towel because there was a daffodil on that, but I'm thinking it just doesn't work. The background's taken that out, so save that for a rainy day. Okay, what other bits have we got? I've got my container of embroideries here too, but I might have enough. It's very spring. Let's just have a glance through that. That's a piece I did ages ago that I wouldn't mind using somewhere in my journal. Little sampler. I don't want to rat out too much, but there might be some little pieces. See, little pieces like that. Little viney pieces. Might visit that. Oh, look at that guy. Would have worked as well. See, summer. Look, summer's a thing. Maybe my title pages have a real embroidery feel about them. All right, stop digging. Put them on top so they remind me. Okay, let's have a look at this little guy. I just feel like some little sprigs might be worth putting in. I want it to look quite densely interesting. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to fussy cut it out. It's good when they're starched like that. This would be one of my mum's, I would say. I do recall this piece being around the house, and she would spray starch them when she ironed them like this, so they would sit perfectly flat. Okay, so we got this tiny little piece. This is where your piece starts looking really interesting when you start working in these little bits. See, they start coming up. Get rid of all that white. That's the bare minimum. See, it's like that. Yeah. See, just little elements to soften your picture. I've got it upside down. Too funny. It's actually upside down. Doesn't look as good now, does it? Oh no, that works. I'll cut this guy out. I think these will come out the top of my imagery. I might be able to work one in lower. Gee, putting a bit of spray starch on your doilies before fussy cutting is a bit of a good idea. But who could be bothered? Who does that anymore? One little one. These are so spring colours, aren't they? Those softer. Mind you, spring here, when you look at the gardens, it's just full of bright colours. Maybe they're just the plants that I tend to buy. I like a bit of purple and red and burgundy and white in my garden. Don't have a lot of yellows and oranges. Sort of takes me into the viola, pansy, dahlias, petunias, classics in my garden. Been buying double petunias lately. Bought a little punnet of 6 of them and put them in with my gerberas, and gosh, they're beautiful. There we go, another little morsel. See, things like that can be put in there. Or down in there. Yeah, down there is better. So this little guy, I've got one more. Oh, good. I just wanted one more. That little guy in the basket, he potentially could have the basket hidden, so I still get the use of the little flower. I might investigate that further. Yeah, this feels very Edith. I wanted doilies and unfinished doilies to potentially be part of backgrounds and things like that. Very, I don't know, sort of feel like that would be Edith's world. They would have had doilies around the home. The girls would have been crocheting. It's very much part of that lifestyle in that era. So I definitely wanted that as part of my tribute to Edith. Well, in my imagination, I believe that's there. Okay, another little morsel. Maybe that comes up into there. Yeah. Either there or down here. Sort of a bit lost there. Could also pop out of there. But I'm thinking it's going to come up here. That rose has got to go that way. So this little guy can sneak in there. Yep. Still feel like I need something there. Let's just explore this little guy. We'll fussy cut him out with the basket. Then we'll pretend basket is not there to see if it's worth removing basket. And if it doesn't look like it's going to work, he'll just go back into the box for a rainy day. Doilies are gone. At one point I was going to do a heap of fussy cutting of doilies. I've got a bit of a stash of them now, and I was going to reduce the fabric holding by fussy cutting them out. But I sort of stopped myself because sometimes you need a bit of fabric to blend it into your work. I think, no, don't go and spend hours doing that. You can with paper. You can sit and fussy cut out elements for, you know, working into journals. But I just felt like I might regret it, having pieces finely cut when I needed something extra sitting in behind it. It would reduce space a little, you know, all that fabric. But then there's a value in the fabric too, and sometimes I pick up pieces after I've filmed and go, you know, I'm going to tea dye that. That's just too handy. Like little bits like that. What I'll do is when I seed stitch the background, I'll do it in the same colour thread as I did over here, and that'll tie it across. You're probably thinking this is warm and this is cool in its background. Once I start seed stitching, it'll sort of link it together. I could drop it in some tea at the end, but you risk adjusting the colour of your embroidery. So I don't think I would do that. Okay, our little basket is out. So if he was to go in, we would cut the basket off and it would just be a little rose. No, not needed. A little rose. A little rose. Sort of don't mind that. I hope you're in camera. It's got nothing to do with the bowl, but I do like fiddling. I think it's those colours is what's pulling it across for me. See, I don't mind even the blue popping up there. No, I'm overpowering my piece with it. I think I'd rather get some more little purple flowers and work them into there than that. I had some daisies that was at the Sea Journal. I don't know. I might just leave it. How long have we been fiddling? 40 minutes plus a little bit. I think I'll just hold at that. What I could do is redo that. That's probably not a bad idea. Where's some fabric that matches this? We could, where's some starchy stuff? We could do a little sampler. Where would we put it? I don't know if I can rip this. Yes, I can. Okay. Sort of helps tie in the hole. I don't know where I'd put it, to be honest. I don't know. Just stop. Stop. If it was that size, if I reproduce this on fabric that's suited, no, just leave it as it is. Yeah, I'm just looking in the camera. Yeah, I like that. I feel like it matches the whole spread. The purple's drifted. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. She doesn't sound convinced, does she? No, she is. The only thing I would potentially look out or embroider, which I might do actually, those little yellow flowers there, if they were popped around, see we've got a little spot here, if they were popped around, just to soften it a little more, potentially, I'd consider doing that. Now we need to pin it. So we'll leave the background on, the calico and wadding that's in behind all this. It's not going to be the most pleasant thing to stitch because I can already feel that the pin going through all of those surfaces is just going to be so pleasant. It's all good. We will work out. Just get a few pins in the this reminds me of the down the garden path piece I did that was based on heaps of embroidery. It was fun, that one, collaging elements of embroidery together. I'll fiddle around a little bit more with that, but I'm okay with it. I know I don't sound very convincing. I actually feel like I could cut that out a little bit there. Look, there's a hidden little sprig of green. And that's probably bulk I don't need. So if that went there like that, that wouldn't be as obvious that there's a join there. That's better. I need to get this out of the book. I think we're pretty confident now that it blends. So let's give ourselves a bit of space. It'd be nice to have got a bird in. It's all right. Can't get everything in. That's another day. So let's just gently slide the journal out. Come on. What's going on there? Pop that away. All right. Let's get that there in. Sorry, Kelly, your little name is gone. Could probably fussy cut that out a little bit. Fudgy's hopped out of bed and he's having a little cool, refreshing drink from his pussycat bowl. You can hear him lapping. Those applique pins are a solid little thing. Sometimes you just need long, thin pins to slice through. I love how that blue is in that flower. Just picks up on that blue. There's some things you just don't notice when you're piecing it together that complement. I think it's probably why when you look at your piece and you go, oh yeah, that just all works. It's because there's probably a subtle colour in there. You haven't noticed it in the beginning, but it's there. Let's get some of these little guys pinned. So I will do a overcast stitch first on every element in fine cotton, sewing machine cotton, and that'll get everything secured. If I think some of the fabrics that I'm playing with here are getting a little bit fray-like it's starting to break down, I can come through with my glue stick and just, where's some more thin pins? You know, glue stick a few things just in case that by me stitching it feels like it's going to disintegrate the actual fabric. But I think all this will hold. These cottons that these tablecloth embroideries are on, they're quite dense. See, that's actually lifted. So that works. I thought I had to get rid of that little guy. So what about him? Where's he going? Am I still on the, I better check the tab. I'll put that little fellow there. Give him home. That there. That there. That gives him a bit of space. And then that can nestle there. You can see a join going through there, but I'm not too worried. I might be able to trim that back so it disappears in behind this little piece, that seam. But I'll do that when I stitch because things jiggle and sometimes you think it's an issue and when you come to stitch, it has just disappeared. There's hours of overcast stitch here. Goodness me. Have we got everything pinned? I think that will go behind there like that. That's going to be black pen. I might do some stitching into it in the yellows. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Just feel like it's a bit gappy through here, but I think if I could find another little purple flower, I just don't want to cut into that. I might go hunting when it's all down and see if there's something I can bring through here that just softens that. It's not quite right, this little guy. There'll be something. I'll find something. All right, I think we have a plan. Everything's pinned. Yep. Now we do need to just double check that it lines up with that, because it would be a shame to go to all that effort only to realise, ow, pins, that it doesn't line up. How disappointing would that be? So that and that. It's probably a bit bigger than I thought. But I might have to just live with it because I've got no wriggle room there. It's going to crash as it is. It's going to crash into that spine. But I think it's so fine, that fabric, I think we can get away with it. I think I can bring that in a little bit there. I just pin that so that that little doily crocheted element stays exactly where I need it. The good thing about fabric is you can manipulate it to some degree, where paper is very much in position. Yeah, that's a bit better. I think I can also do the same here where that just peeks back a little bit. It's probably a bit more than I wanted out there, to be honest, but there's only so much room, isn't there? The piece could be cut back a little bit, like that. Maybe that's the solution. I take a little bit of excess off. Gosh. And that would then bring that back. Yeah, I think that's what I might do. Might be a case of, and the other thing is that could come over a little bit. Let's have a little fiddle. I know I've just pinned it all, but that's okay. I'd rather get this right now and pinch a bit out of this spine. I will need to redraw my daffodils to some degree because I believe this piece is going to come over and peek there. That still lines up, so that's good. That still lines up. I'd rather have more lace peeking through the front cover. That still lines up. Those leaves are easy on the daffodil to adjust. That's now in a fraction more. That still works through to there. Love how that thins out there with that bud. Just wasn't wanting to cut it off. That was a thought. Look at that. Like, seriously, girl. Gee, it gets rough on the craft table with the pins, doesn't it? All that looks good. So I just would have to catch my stem of that guy down, but that's fine. This is a leaf, so maybe I could bring it up there. This can come through to here. That makes sense. That leaf may not even need to be there. Or the one in behind goes. We'll see. I'll tidy all that up. At least we've got a bit of a plan, I guess. Is that all pinned? So now, if that, we assume that that's gone, bring it back into our journal. And we've just taken 1/4 of an inch out of that whole piece, which is good because now it's not bashing. Might even just turn that under, you know, that would work. It'd just give it a different edge finish. Maybe do a running stitch through there. That's all good. Most I could cut it off. And now that's better. Yep. All right, I'm happy now. I think I'll cut it off. There we go for time. We must be nearly there. I'm just going to grab my big scissors. And I'm going to, I'd rip it if I could, but I don't think I can. Just going to cut 1/4 of an inch off. And then fray it all up, which will happen anyway by the time I finish stitching. That edge will be all furry in no time. So that's good. Now I can sort of manipulate those to make sure they're out of the way. Looks a bit crooked. Yep, good. It's got it in a little bit. That will be in a little bit. With a little bit of, you know, manipulating, I think I can make that sit there fine. All right, guys, I think that's it. I'll toddle off. I'm not sure when you'll see this piece again. I'd say, I don't know, who knows. I've got a bit of work to do here. I don't think I can get my paint swatches in. That may just have to go with another scene, another day. Where's my Edith page that I stitched? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to work it into that. Just leave it there. Stop mucking around. And we've got a spare page for another day. This guy. Be nice to have a background already stitched. And I do so love that. So I definitely want that somewhere. Maybe the next prompt. Who knows? Who knows what the girls will give us. All right, guys. That's it. I'm going to say goodbye. And catch you in the next video. Bye.